All I want to do is the bazoom, zoom, zoom, and the boom, boom. Trying to get live. Can we go live? I think we're going live. Hey, Jerry the Bull, we're going live. See if this actually works. Always got to test it out, folks, because otherwise, how do we know? It's not. If it works, that'd be great. If it doesn't work, that would suck, because then I'm talking to nobody. Not that that'll be any different in the next 10 minutes. But yeah, today's going to be interesting because we're going to talk about truth and reality. That'll be any different. Hey, there we go. Very good. All right, what's going on, guys? I am Jeff, the producer, and today we're going to be talking about why certain people in the UFC, and I'm talking about specifically not only the trainers and coaches, but specifically the athletes, why they have no clue about diet and nutrition. The subject for today is going to be, my subject, the one that I'm focusing on, is UFC Interim Heavyweight Champion, which, by the way, makes absolutely no sense, because how can you have an interim champion when you have a legitimate heavyweight champion in Jon Jones? There should be no interim belt. There's no unification going on because Jon Jones already defended his belt, so it's a problem. He should be fighting Ciryl Gane, and I'm talking about Tom Aspinall, the UFC Interim Heavyweight Champion. All right, Tom Aspinall is 32 years old, 6'5", 251 pounds, so he doesn't have to worry about weight. Although I do think that if he comes in at over 280 pounds, he would be considered a super heavyweight. But 15 wins, 3 losses, and by the way, 1 loss is illegitimate. He got robbed. Not that he got robbed in that it was a poor judging, but it really shouldn't have been a TKO because he hurt his knee on a kick against his first fight against Curtis Blades. That really should be a no contest, and there should be a rule where if a fighter breaks his leg or breaks his arm or hurts himself, that should be an absolute no contest. Okay. You know, I understand the disqualifications with the eye pokes and the nut shots, which, by the way, no one seems to get disqualified for that anymore. But in terms of a no contest, come on, we really need to put that into the category. He really is 15 wins, 2 losses, and 1 no contest. But out of those 15 wins, 12 knockouts. I don't think he's gone past the second round of the UFC, which is accurate. He came to the UFC in 2020. TKO, submission, TKO, submission. Then he hurt his knee, TKO, knockout. And his last 3 fights, a minute. The one before that, a minute 9. The one before that, a minute 13. He submitted himself in 15 seconds. That's his fastest one. And then, before that, we're talking like he doesn't get to round 2. The last time he got to round 2 was in 2021. So, and that was early 2021. In late 2021, that was when he started the streak of basically stopping the fight in the first round. He's never gotten past the first round. It doesn't mean he doesn't have a gas tank, but Tom Aspinall is one of the best heavyweights to ever stand inside the octagon or fight in any kind of fighting, especially with the UFC. Now, why am I bringing him up? Because he has a YouTube channel, and on his YouTube channel, he does what Paddy Pimblett does and what the Sugar Sean O'Malley used to do, which is basically just film himself driving in his car to and from the gym, his workouts and everything else. But I found something very interesting. He posted this about 3 days ago. I think it was probably August 30th or maybe August 29th, whatever it is. And, he's in his car and he's talking about some stuff. And then he brings up dieting. And he says that he's going to drop a bombshell that early this year and I think late last year, and the reason why he's taken such a long time between fights is because he came down with some severe illnesses. And he also mentions that, 1, he never takes a break, which is going to set yourself up for illnesses. And 2, that this is not the first time that he's dealt with, being like sick or having some type of viral infection because of his training. Because he likes to train, he doesn't like to take breaks. He's a warrior. I totally understand that. But when you overtrain, you're compromising your immune system. If you compromise your immune system and you're a fighter, what's going to happen? You're going to be more prone to injury. You're going to have a higher caloric intake, which is what we're going to talk about today, which I'm going to get into that. And, you're just not going to be operating at full functional capacity. This isn't the same as the final week where they have to go through that crazy weight cut. He doesn't have to worry about the weight cut. He's a heavyweight. I mean, what's he going to cut, like 2 pounds? I mean, he doesn't have to cut anything. If anything, Jon Jones is going to be the one who's going to have to go up in weight, which, by the way, let me get this out of the way quick. Tom Aspinall should be fighting Ciryl Gane because Ciryl Gane was the last interim champion who Jon Jones beat in order to become champion. Jon Jones then defended his title against Stipe Miocic, which means that Tom Aspinall should not be the interim champion. So if he's going to fight anyone, you should be fighting the number 2 contender to the belt, which would be Ciryl. The next fight should be Jon Jones versus whoever wins against Tom Aspinall and Ciryl. But I think Jon Jones is probably going to fight Aspinall next. I would have loved to have seen Jon Jones fight Alex Potamparea, who claimed that he was going to go up to heavyweight, but Dana White apparently doesn't want that. Thank you, Dana, for screwing that one up. But I'm making this video today not to criticize Tom Aspinall and his decisions when it comes to fighting or whether or not he's really the interim champion. Look, he's a champion. He's a great guy. He's just not the real interim champion. He's a great heavyweight. He probably will become heavyweight champion one day once Jon Jones retires. I don't think he's going to beat him. But about the comments that he's making in this video in regards to his diet and why he thinks he got sick. And I'm going to pause it, and I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to critique everything, and I'm going to try to educate you guys as to why you MMA coaches and MMA personal trainers and dietitians and you supplement suggestors, look, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, so I'm going to try to help you not sound stupid the next time you guide these fighters. So here we go. This is Tom Aspinall. He's driving in his car. He's in England. And let's see what he says. He's going to critique his own diet. He's going to say some stuff, and I'm going to stop it and pause it when I feel like it. So here we go. Tom Aspinall. And here we go.
Right, so I know we've made a video previously about my diet and what I eat. And I thought I was like eating around maintenance from what I burn in a day. So I was eating between 3,000 and 4,000 calories usually, around about 3.
Okay, so he's, let me get this right. He is 251 pounds, and he says that he believes 3,000 calories, around like 3,500, is not maintenance for a 260 pounds guy. First of all, that is exactly what the maintenance for a 260 pound guy would be. That would be maintenance. But let's hear what he says.
Ish, something like that, just over 3. But since then, we have had a resting metabolism test. So,
a resting metabolism test. Keep that in mind. Already, we're getting into stupid shit here. It's really funny to me, right? Well, all these fighters come out of nowhere. No one knows about them. No one cares about them. But after they start to do well and they're dominating like this guy is and just beating everyone in the first round and submitting them and knocking them the fuck out, suddenly all these doctors, I can improve. I can improve your diet. Or these breathing fucking coaches like Wim Hof. Oh, you have to know how to breathe right, yeah? It's like, dude, these guys know how to fucking breathe. Or, like Adesanya holding his fucking breath in the water doing stupid scuba diving. Or these personal trainers, I can help you get your strength up, bro. These guys don't need your help. That's why they're champions. And no, a little 2 or 3% improvement is not going to help them. 100% improvement in their skill is going to help them. But he's getting a resting metabolism test. First of all, Tom, whoever you got this resting metabolism test from, that's not what it's called. As a matter of fact, that's not even a phrase. That's like a phrase that a layman would use, like a guy who has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. It's called the basal metabolic rate test, or your basal metabolic rate. That is the bottom line foundational amount of calories that you burn doing absolutely nothing, or as they should say, which he didn't tell you either, is being sedentary. So if you're sedentary, meaning that you just lay down supine all day for 24 hours, your basal metabolic rate will be a certain number. And I'm going to tell you right now, just over 3,000 calories, yes, that would be your basal metabolic rate. So let's see what he says.
These numbers are, if I was lay on a bed, or I was laid down for 24 hours not moving, how many calories would I burn doing absolutely nothing in a complete resting state?
Complete resting state. Now, the only way to do this test is if he was actually laying down for 24 hours and someone tested how many calories he burned. We're going to get into that false phrase also, but here we go.
And you can see here, I don't know if you can see that with the phone and stuff. I would burn doing nothing. 3,031 calories doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay, so the guy that took this test for him, the basal metabolic rate test, said that if he's laying down doing nothing, he would burn 3,000 calories. Horseshit. For 2 reasons. Number 1, it is impossible to know how many calories you're burning if you're laying down doing nothing for 24 hours, unless you are connected to a device that will be able to measure your fecal output. That means the poopies that you take, your urine output, how much pee-pee you do, right? Your sweat, because they would have to analyze all the different nutrients that you lose in your sweat and how much weight you lose there. Your hair follicle. Then they would have to take a skin caliper measurement
and it would preferably be underwater, which means you can't be lying supine. So I guess that they would take a bed and they would submerge it, or maybe put you in a water bed or something. And they would have to do this hourly. Then they would take the 24-hour hourly and they would average it, and they would give you a basal metabolic rate test. It is I know he didn't go through that. He went to some clinic that took some numbers and took his diet and, took his age, his weight, and again, if you're a sedentary individual, then you multiply this, put it into the fucking equation, and allegedly 3,031 calories for this guy doing nothing? No, 3,500 would be the amount of calories that you would need, dude, just by walking around, okay? Not laying, laying down, it's, okay. So, number two, the reason why it's completely false is because if you're laying down doing nothing, what you're burning today has nothing to do with what you're doing today. Listen carefully. Your basal metabolic rate today has everything to do with what you did yesterday. Okay? If you had a very stressful, long, strenuous day, and you got no sleep, and you took your caloric burning test, which is impossible to measure, by the way, but let's say you wanted to find out how many calories that you were burning for that particular day, you would have to take into consideration what activities you did the day before. Did you do a lot of physical activity? Did you do no physical activity? Were you highly stressed? Were you happy? What's your average for burning calories when you're actually physically trained? What's your average for burning calories when you're completely stressed out, when you're not stressed out? So many factors would have to be involved that they would have to do multiple tests before they got to the point where they can actually tell you that you're burning 3,031 calories for a 260-pound guy. Sorry, dude, it is 3,500 calories by you walking around and not training. But here we go.
So if I was to do nothing in a day, I would have to eat 3,031 calories just to maintain energy levels, right?
No, you would have to eat 3,500 calories in order for you to maintain your muscle mass. But they didn't tell you that.
So then we've got total energy expenditure per day.
By the way, impossible to measure your energy expenditure per day unless you're connected to some type of VO2 max monitor, so the maximum oxygen output. And they would have to measure your insulin levels because they want to see what your blood sugar is going to be like. Then they would compare that to hormones. They would compare it to so many factors. I know he didn't get this done. There's no way in hell because he's looking at an app. So here we go.
Without exercise. So if I'm just up walking around, I'm running a few errands, might take the dog for a walk, I might do the school run, make a bit of food, whatever. So if I'm just on a regular day, a rest day, but not complete rest, so just pottering around and doing whatever.
We get it, Tom.
5,153 calories.
So you're saying that walking the dog, just getting up and walking around, you would expend 2,000 fucking calories? Who's telling you this shit? So let me guess. The next one is that if you went to the gym and you had a sparring session and then at night you did weight training, you would expend 8,000 calories? Well, let's see what Tommy Boy says.
So that's not completely resting, but that's just a non-training day. So obviously this machine can only be done when you sat down. It's not done when you're actually exercising. So me and the nutritionists and the doctors and all the guys who I've worked with this are thinking when I'm training in training camp, I'm probably burning between 1,000 and 2,000 calories a day. So that means I will need to maintain between 6,000 and 7,000 calories a day.
Tom, if you ate between 6,000 and 7,000 calories a day, you would be putting on muscle mass. There is a guy, look him up, Dorian Yates, who's from England, by the way. He was Mr. Olympia 6 fucking times. Okay? He was over 300 pounds in the off season. When he went on stage, he was about your weight, somewhere around like 260 at his biggest. But let's say he averaged between 255 and 270. Let's say like 240 something, right? He dieted on 4,000 calories. This is a bodybuilder who dieted. That means he's taking steroids, he's taking fat burn, he's taking all types of crap, right? He dieted on 4,000 calories. In the off season, he would eat somewhere between 10,000 and 12,000 calories. But he was taking steroids and he was lifting weights and he didn't train every day. He would train 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, and 1 day off, and then he would repeat the cycle. But when he was dieting down, he would have to burn, he would eat 4,000 calories. 4,000 calories, he maintained his weight at 260 pounds. Okay? 4,000 calories, 260. You're 260 pounds, and this guy's telling you have to take in 7,000. You're not a bodybuilder. You're doing a lot of strenuous exercises, but you are no way in hell working your muscle as hard as a bodybuilder who requires a lot more calories and a lot more protein and a lot more carbs and fat than you do. Trust me. But here we go.
And I've been eating around 3,000-4,000, so...
You're eating around 3,000 or 4,000, and as we see, do you look small? No. How much do you weigh now, Tom? What are you, like 260, 265? Does it look like you're losing weight? Do you look skinny? Do you look like you're in a, concentration camp? I don't think so.
That's a massive problem. Massive problem is that's a big reason why I've been catching these viruses.
And here we go. The reason why you've been catching these viruses is because, Tom, you're overtrained. You don't train enough. What am I saying? You don't rest enough. You train too much. Okay, you don't have enough off days. The reason why you're constantly sick. By the way, earlier in this video, which I might show you, he's at the gym, he's sniffling. And like the camera guy goes, "Hey Tom, what are you sick?" He goes, "Yeah, body, okay, I'm gonna come anyway." Well, if you're not gonna take care of your body, he's young too. How old is he? How old is Tom Aspinall? I just said it before. He's 32 years old, so he's not that old. He's not even in his prime yet. His prime is around like 35. So he's still growing. He's a growing young man, right? He's not a kid, but come on, not old. And he's still going to the gym, training when he's sick. Now he's blaming the fact that he's only eating 4,000 calories on getting sick. Come on, Tom. Don't listen to these people. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Anyone who knows anything about training, especially when it comes to bodybuilding training, you're overtraining your central nervous system. You're not giving yourself enough time to recover. You're not giving yourself enough nutrients to recover. Your body can't possibly process all these calories, which you're going to talk about later. Calories are a bad, defunct, outdated measurement. But that's why you're getting these viruses. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're not eating enough. If you started eating 7,000 to 8,000 calories a day and you train twice a day, good luck trying to manage your body with all that food in your stomach. Oh, people are going to talk about Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett is not 260 pounds. Paddy Pimblett also does not get as fat as people say he gets. His face gets fat. His stomach never gets fat. He has a crazy metabolism. See what happens? You eat all this fucking protein, you start like regurgitating it. It's disgusting. You get weird pimples too. But listen, Paddy Pimblett he's not in your weight class. He's not a fucking heavyweight. All right? So you can't even compare that. It's not even comparable. You're getting sick. You're getting these viruses because you're overtrained. It has nothing to do with your diet. Zero in your situation to do with your diet.
Feeling sick, feeling run down, getting ringworm, getting other skin infections.
The ringworm has nothing to do with your diet intake. That has to do with probably nutrient deficiencies. And you should probably get on tea tree oil and eucalyptus oil. Topical.
Getting a chest infection. All this stuff is like easy for me to pick up because my body is nowhere near fueled enough. I'm eating the right...
It has nothing to do with you not being fueled enough. It has everything to do with you're not rested enough. You're overtrained, and your coaches should be telling you, "Tom, go home. You're a pro athlete. Go home." But you think you got to eat more?
Big stuff. Just not enough.
By the way, you know what? Here, he's 260 pounds, right? Let's just do a little math here. Let's see. A little math routine, 260 pounds. Now, what I recommend to people is that they should take in, if you're a bodybuilder and you want to maintain your muscle, you should take in 1.5 grams per pound of body weight. So he's 260. So we're going to do 260 times, I should do this, 260 times 1.5, 390 grams of protein for Tom Aspinall. All right? And we're going to just measure all this stuff. So we're talking 390 grams of protein. Now, I say to people, you want to maintain muscle, but you don't want to get fat, do 1.5, whatever your protein intake is for that day. So I'm going to do 1.5 times 390. So we're going to do 1.5 times 390. By the way, 390 fucking grams of protein is a lot of protein, but you're going to see how it's not that crazy when it comes to the numbers he's throwing out here. Otherwise, we don't know what he's going to do in terms of calories. All right, so 585 grams of carbs. Now let's just add this up. 4 calories per gram of both carbs and protein. So 390 times 4. Where are we at? 1,560 calories coming from protein. Now we're going to do 585. 585 times 1.5 equals 800. What? Try that again. 585 times 4 All right. 2,340 calories. Now we're going to add all this up. 2,340. Remember, this is for a bodybuilder. This is not for Tom Aspinall. If Tom Aspinall was a bodybuilder, I recommend this. All right. 3,900 calories. Okay? Everyone's like, well, where's the fat? First of all, if you're maintaining, you don't need fat, but you want to throw some fat in? This is what I recommend to people. 25% of your carb intake. 25% of your protein intake. So we do 390, which is a lot of fucking protein. A lot of protein. 390 divided by 5. So 1,560, and then we have to divide that by 9. Because, what are you talking about, Jeff? What are we doing over here? 390 divided by 4. Here we go, 97.5. All right, so I'm going to tell him, let's round it off to 100 grams of fat that I recommend Tom Aspinall take. So we do that. That'll be 900 calories, right? All right. So if Tom Aspinall were a bodybuilder at his weight, 260 pounds, this would be what he would need to maintain. Remember, a bodybuilder, not for Tom. So 1,560 plus 2,340 plus 900, 4,800 calories. 4,800 calories. Dorian Yates, 300 pounds. He would diet on 4,000 calories. Diet on 4,000 calories. Out of all the macronutrients that I just mentioned here, which one do you think he's dropping the most? He's going to drop a little bit of carbs, but mostly it's going to be from the fat. The fat intake is probably going to be around 40 grams a day. The carb intake, hovering around 200. The protein stays high, right? Okay, so Tom Aspinall is talking about, he thinks he's not taking enough in. He's taking between 3,000 and 4,000 fucking calories per day. He thinks he's not taking enough. He's absolutely right at the point that he should be. If he took in 600 grams of carbs a day with 350 grams of protein, that would be enough. But listen to these macronutrients, guys. 4,800 total calories. This is the first thing that he said that he should be taking, right? 4,800 calories. 390 grams of protein, 585 grams of carbs, 100 grams of fat. He's talking about, what do you say over here? Like, you know, if he was training per day?
Massive problem is that's 6,000 and 7,000 calories a day. Between
6,000 and 7,000. So what would he have to add here? We already have Tom on 390 grams of protein, which is 1,560 calories, 585 grams of carbs, which is 2,340 calories, and 100 grams of fat, which is 900. We're going to add that up again, just so you see where we're at, guys. 900 plus 2,340 plus 1,560 puts us at exactly 4,890 calories if we're doing the maintenance diet for a bodybuilder the size of a guy of Tom Aspinall. So we'll take Dorian Yates, for example, right? He's talking about 7,000. So 7,000 here would be, how many more calories are we adding? 7,000. That would be another 2,000. That would be another 2,110 calories. So he's talking about that if he's training every day, listen to him say it. Listen to what he says.
Me and the nutritionists and the doctors and all the guys I've worked with this are thinking, when I'm training in training camp, I'm probably burning between 1,000 and 2,000 calories a day. So that means I will need to maintain between 6,000 and 7,000 calories a day. Between
6,000 and 7,000 calories a day. So if I had Tom Aspinall on the trainer's diet, which would be 4,890 calories, not 7,000, but we are going to add the 7,000, right? 390 grams of protein, 585 grams of carbs, 100 grams of fat. To get to 7,000 calories for Tom Aspinall, we'd have to add another 2,000 calories. Where are those 2,000 calories going to come from? We have enough protein. We definitely have enough carbs. They're going to have to come from fat, right? All right, well, how much fat are we going to get out of another 2,110 calories? We are going to get another 234 grams of fat, which means he would have to eat 334 grams of fat per day, right? 390 grams of protein per day, 585 grams of carbs per day. Now, you're going to get some knuckleheads out here because you listen to all these bodybuilding gurus like, you know, less plates, less hair. And, you know, these other guys who call themselves self-proclaimed gurus. Well, why don't you just up the carbs? And he's taking too much protein. If I redistributed everything, in order for me to get to 7,000, let's see. Obviously, this would be ridiculous for him to eat 334 grams of fat, right? Okay, so fine. We're going to write a new diet for Tom. We're going to give him a maximum of 200 grams of fat per day, right? You guys think he's taking in too much protein? Okay, we'll give him 300 grams of protein per day, right? And we're going to see where we're at. And then we're going to put in how many carbs he would have to eat by taking in 200 grams of fat, 300 grams of protein. How much carbs would Tom Aspinall have to eat, according to these diet gurus and his app, to hit his basal metabolic rate, add it into his training routine? How many carbs would he have to eat in order to get to 7,000? All right, well, here we go. Let's see. 200 grams of fat will give us how many calories? 1,800 calories. 1,800 calories of fat. Beautiful. How many calories are we going to get for 300 grams of protein? Well, that'll be 1,200, right? Let's see. Can I do that so fast? That would be 1,200 calories. Very good, Jeff. So, 1,200 plus 1,800. What's this at? 3,000. Dude, we got another 4,000 fucking calories to go. So you don't want to put him above 200 grams of fat, right? And you don't want to put him above 300 grams of protein, right? He's 260 pounds. He doesn't need more than 300 grams of protein. Where are we going to get the other 3,000 calories from? Obviously, carbs. He would have to eat 750 grams of carbs per day. 750 grams of carbs per day if he listened to his dietitian with his new app. In order for him to maintain his muscle and not get sick all the time. Listen to what he says. Listen. Just listen.
Calories a day. So that means the nutritionists and the doctors and all the guys who I've worked with this are thinking, when I'm training in training camp, I'm probably burning between 1,000 and 2,000 calories a day. So that means I will need to maintain between 6,000 and 7,000 calories a day. And I've been eating around 3,000, 4,000. So that's a massive problem. Massive problem is that's a big reason why I've been catching these viruses, feeling sick, feeling run down, getting ringworm, getting other skin infections.
No, it's not, Tom. It's because you're overtrained. Dude, listen to what you would have to eat. I'm going to say it one last time. This is absolutely crazy. For Tom Aspinall to get the 7,000 calories and not be a fat fuck, he would have to eat 300 grams of protein, 200 grams of fat, 750 grams of carbs. All right? Let's say the guy eats 4 meals per day. Yeah, I know bodybuilders eat 5, but let's just do 4 for Tom Aspinall. How many grams of carbs would this guy need per meal in order to his doctor and dietitian recommended 7,000 calories? 750. So per meal, he would have to eat almost 200 grams, 187.5 grams of carbs per meal. How many fucking carbs that is? You know how many teaspoons of sugar that is? You know how many bowls of pasta we're talking about? All right, here, like a bagel. An average bagel has like 50 grams of carbs, right? So he'd have to eat 4 bagels in one shot. He'd have to do that 4 times a day, which means he'd have to eat 16 bagels. That's just the equivalent. A bowl of pasta, 60 grams. So every meal, he would have to eat 3 bowls of pasta. Which means by the end of the day, he's eating 12 fucking bowls of pasta. This is his dietitian and doctor and all the experts are recommending to Tom Aspinall. This is what he should be doing. Guys, does that sound normal to you?
Getting a chest infection, all this stuff is like easy for me to pick up because my body is nowhere near fueled enough. I'm eating the right stuff, just not enough of it. So,
what are you eating, Tom? Does he ever tell us? Unfortunately,
we have now drastically changed the diet. I'm 1 week into the new diet. I'm feeling way better than I felt in a long time.
Tom, if you're eating 7,000 calories a day, I guarantee you in 2 weeks you're going to be a fat bastard. You will be fat bastard.
So there is that. Now I'm going to hit you with a weird piece of paper now with a lot of other results on. Just wait a sec. Right, yo, this is for the real nutrition nerds out there. I'm going to cover this topic because it's got my phone number on it. I don't want any of you crazy people giving me a call.
So you don't want to promote the guy who wants to make money off of you? Got it. Oh, it has his home number. Never mind.
Right, this has got some weird yellow stuff on there. I don't know what that is.
What is that?
It's called a marker.
That's been around my children. I don't know what that might be. Let me know in the comments what you think that might be because I ain't got a clue. Doesn't even smell like anything. I'm not sure. Right, so we've got
That was
I'll tell
good.
you the important bits. Oh, it's something that I think is important anyway. So, where are we? My weight, first of all. I'm 100, well, I'll tell you my height, 195 centimetres, that's just shy of 6'5". My weight, this is in the morning fasted, is 115.5 kilos.
115.5 kilos is 253 pounds. So he's just, so he's not even 260. So he's 253 pounds. Right, Tommy? Tommy boy. Hey, Tommy boy, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Where you go? Where you go? Come on, Tommy, talk to me, Tommy.
So that's without any water or food in my system. First thing in the morning, this was done.
You do have water in your system, Tom, but by the way, this is like another thing, right? Weighing yourself first in the morning to try to get the real weight, that's not your real weight. That's your fasted weight. And your fasted weight is not your real weight. Your real weight is after you're somewhere in the middle of the day, but we won't get into that. Obviously, if you're dieting for a contest, dieting for a show, or dieting for a UFC event, or you just need to, diet to see like how much weight you lost from yesterday, yes, it's great to weigh yourself in the morning, but that's not your actual body weight. Your actual body weight is what you weigh after you've done some stuff, because your body retains water and sweats, it does all this other stuff or whatever.
Skeletal muscle mass. How much muscle weighs, basically. Like, obviously you've got blood, water.
What he wants to say is they measured his body fat, and then they took everything else, which is called lean body mass, not skeletal muscle. It's lean body mass. Which means, let's see, I'm guessing they're probably going to tell him that he's like 13 to 15% body fat. So he's probably going to say that he's like 85% lean muscle.
Bones, tendons, all that kind of stuff.
Well, lean muscle mass.
So all that stuff aside, the muscle that I've got in my body is 58.2 kilos of muscle.
So he's saying he got 58.2 kilos of muscle. Let's see what that comes out to. 0.2. So according to these doctors, he has 128 pounds of muscle, right? And then we subtract body weight, and they're basically trying to say that he has 124 pounds of other shit. Okay, fuck, do you figure that one out? DEXA scan?
So that's more than. Is that more than half? That's more. Is it? No.
It's about half, Tom.
I'm just shy of half.
Yeah.
And my body weight is muscle. And the guy who did this said this is by far the highest muscle mass he's ever seen. So
then obviously the guy's not that experienced, because it's not hard to guess half, because the rest is going to be bone, tendons, ligaments, connective tissue, blood, water, plasma, brain tissue, fingernails, toenails, zits, teeth. Oh, that's a bone, right? And if you're wearing headphones, you could add a pound.
All right, mate.
Paul Orndorff. That was Paul Orndorff. That's weird.
And the guy who did this said
that was Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff from the WWF, not the E.
This is by far the highest muscle mass he's ever seen. So,
yep, that's Paul Orndorff. Look at the bicep.
All right, mate. Feeling pretty jacked about that. Feeling pretty good about that.
By the way, he's blowing smoke up your ass because there's no way for you to physically tell unless you take a biopsy. Unless you do some complicated, MRI scan or some other type of magneto resonance imaging, and then you look at a DEXA scan, and then you see how much, again, the water that you're expending. You have to look at all different types of factors in order to see how much muscle you actually have in your body. But it's not hard to say half. But if this guy was half muscle, he'd be a fucking bodybuilder. Okay, stop it.
Body fat, 12.4%.
Oh, what did I guess earlier? I have to go back and look, right? I think I said between 12 and 15.
Which I think is quite lean for a person of my weight.
Tom is he's not self-deprecating. He's self-aggrandizing, or whatever the word is. Boost yourself up. Don't care.
So they're the three big ones, I think. And then my in-body score, so look at this. This is something else that he's never seen. It goes up to 100, because you think that 100 is the maximum that you can get for your in-body score. I've only got 110. The highest he's ever seen, apparently.
That's one of the British Bulldogs. Dude, there is no fucking way. This guy's blowing smoke. This is what all these guys do. All these gurus, all these experts, all these doctors. They blow smoke up these guys' ass. Wow, I've never seen any physical specimen like you. They said this to Adesanya. They say it to Poatan Pereira. They say it to Conor McGregor. They say it to everyone who's a fucking champion with a belt around their waist, or anyone who's popular, right? I'm sure that, who do you call it? Meta's fucking coach, fucking what's his name? That like he's fighting now and doing all that fucking shit. Wow, you're the smartest guy that we ever met. No one ever done this before. You always hear this. It's like, dude, don't you understand he's saying that because you're Tom Aspinall? If you were Tom, no one gave a crap and all, he wouldn't be saying this shit to you. Think about it.
I don't even know you.
I don't even know you either.
So I'm feeling pretty good about that stuff. But obviously to fuel all this stuff, my metabolism is really, really high because I am carrying 58.2 kilos of muscle. And my
metabolism is high. It has nothing to do with your muscle mass, Tom. It has to do with your energy expenditure because you're working out twice a day.
Body fat percentage is 12.4, so my metabolism is moving fast, which is why I have to fuel the body way more than I'm fueling it at the minute. So we're gonna see some big changes to performance. Hopefully,
you're not gonna see big changes to performance. You're gonna see big changes to your body fat, which is gonna increase. You take in 7,000 calories. Let's fucking review. These doctors want him to take in 7,000 calories, right? In order for Tom Aspinall to take in 7,000 calories, again, let's do the macronutrient breakdown. Notice he didn't mention macronutrient breakdown with all these experts and doctors and all these scanners and shit, right? Excuse me, fucking protein. 200 grams of fat, which is 1,800 calories. 300 grams of protein, which is 1,200 calories. 300 grams of protein, that's all he needs, which is a lot, okay? 750 grams of carbs per day. It's just not going to happen, Tom. You're going to get fat. Trust me.
All this nasally stuff's going to go. To be honest, it's gone. I don't know why.
So he thinks that if he eats more calories, he's going to be less sick. Dude, you're overtrained. Has nothing to do with your caloric intake.
I still sound like this. I feel 100%. But I think...
What about your BMI there? What does
BMI?
What?
Body mass index. His body mass index is irrelevant, whoever you are, cameraman. But it's probably going to be like 19, 20.
Where's that? Oh, mate, the BMI's up there, 30.4, over.
Okay, 30.4. So the reason why they're saying that is because the BMI is an outdated, defunct measurement, which should not be on this piece of paper, but it is. And it was supposed to be something that showed obese people how obese they were and what number they would have to go down. It goes by 3 factors: your age, your height, and your weight. That's it. It's not based on your activity. So it has nothing to do with physical activity. Has nothing to do with what your metabolic rate is. Has nothing to do with any relevant factors. It is an old method of measuring body mass, and the new method is DEXA scans and body fat, not using calipers but underwater measurements, and measuring your energy expenditure using your hair follicles, fecal matter, urine, sweat, and also your blood nutrients. And BMI is completely defunct and dead. Why it's on this piece of paper? Because he's getting smoke blown up his ass.
I'm over on the BMI, but we don't listen to
You're
that.
obese, yeah?
Why does it say that? Does it say that? Yeah, well, yeah, I'm a bit obese, but we'll take it.
Exactly. So like the camera guy knows that like the body mass index would be a measure of the study of obesity, and he would be obese with that number for his height, age, and weight. But the BMI means absolutely nothing. As you can see, the guy's not obese, okay?
You're just a beast.
We'll go for that, but yeah, I'm pretty...
It's funny, at first I thought he said a beast, but he said obese.
Yeah, it's been really interesting.
It's good for your head though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been really interesting, and now I know that I can be I'm still eating the same stuff, just more of it. More
What are you eating, Tom? What?
More nutritious stuff. I'm going to fuel my sessions properly now. Now I know what I can go to, and what's healthy and what's right. And hopefully we'll see a big increase in my performance, because I've been under-eating for a long time.
This guy thinks he's under-eating at 4,000 fucking calories a day. Insane.
And I train religiously twice a day, and I'm not fueling it properly, so...
You are fueling it properly, because otherwise you would be super skinny. You're getting sick, Tom, not because you're under-eating, but you're overtraining. Think about what you just said. Twice a day. Early in the video, I'm going to try to find it. Early in the video, he's training. He goes to the side. The camera guy that was just talking now, which I like, and this camera guy is actually one of the better ones, because he's not moving around with the camera. He's focused on his subject correctly. He's not interjecting too much. He's interjecting when he should be. He's very intelligent. So props to you, camera guy. I like you, camera guy. Props from JTP. You know what I mean?
Fully fueled Tom Aspinall is coming up in the near future. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Oh, Michael Knight from Knight Rider.
Not stay tuned again.
Don't stay tuned again. Yeah. S&C. Well, actually, I'm going to get
strength and conditioning.
the physio just to look at me first quickly because I some minor
Always investing in
stuff.
yourself.
Always investing in it.
So he has something to look at. Okay, so Tom Aspinall believes, based on his doctors, his nutritionists, his dietitians, and everyone else that he overpays, that the reason why he's getting sick is not because he trains twice a day, whether or not he's sick or not, is not because he may be eating the wrong breakdown and configuration of his macronutrients. Has nothing to do with the micronutrients. Notice he didn't bring up micronutrients. He didn't bring up micronutrients or minerals or vitamins, anything like that. He didn't bring up anything having to do with macronutrients, meaning his protein, fat, and carbohydrate breakdown. He didn't bring up specific foods that he was eating. But he's told by these people, oh, you're eating 4,000 calories? That's not enough for your body weight. You need 7,000. Okay? And he thinks that this is going to cure him of his sicknesses and his illnesses and getting viruses. Tom, you're overtrained. Okay? I'm not going to blame your coach for overtraining you. Maybe your coach did tell you, hey, calm the fuck down, right? But this dietitian, this doctor, and this guy giving you this fucking bullshit scan, Tom, you start eating 7,000 calories per day. If you really do eat this 7,000 calories per day, training the way you're training, one, your training sessions are going to take a nosedive because you got way too many calories in your system. That's number one. Number two, you're going to get fat. Okay, so you're going to be lazy, you're going to be fat. And number three, it's not going to benefit you unless you are taking the right distribution of macronutrients combined with the micronutrients, combined with whatever your blood sugar is and your insulin and your hormones. None of what you spoke about in this discussion. So your doctor, your physiologist, your personal trainer, your nutritionist, your dietitian, your scanner, your DEXA scanner, whatever the fuck, all these people are not telling you that you're overtraining. Now, I am going to go to the early part of the video. Let's see if I can find it here, where he's training. Here, this is right over here somewhere. We start saying he's at the gym training. He doesn't care if he has sniffles. He doesn't give a shit. All right, let's see. Find it right here.
Tomorrow half. Today nice.
A few more.
How's the cold coming?
So how's the cold coming, man? All right, here we go.
On the week off.
Yeah, just everything a bit slow. Nice. Tomorrow half. Today nice.
Yeah, feel good. Takes me a couple of rounds to get going. So
it took me a couple of rounds to get going, and you heard him just cough just now? Did you hear that cough? This is earlier in the video. This is at 2 minutes in the video. What we're listening to is around like 17 or something. All right? So listen to everything he said. He said the reason why he's getting sick is because he's under eating. He thinks under eating is 4,000 calories. He thinks he's going to be less sick by eating 7,000 calories with no focus on his macronutrients, no focus on his protein, fat, or carbs, or micronutrients, which is vitamins, minerals, and trace elements, and no focus on his blood work, no focus on his hormones, no focus on anything having to do with his energy expenditure when it comes to his skin, hair, feces, or urine. Okay? So he thinks by eating 7,000 calories, this cough is going to magically go away. Listen to what he says.
a couple of rounds in now. A few more.
How's the cold coming?
Nearly gone. Still got a little cough when my heart rate gets up. A little tickle, but nose is clear finally.
His nose is clear, but you can hear it's not clear.
Finally got some energy again.
Showing people this week that you're not just a YouTuber, that you're still fighting, still training.
Still training. Do a bit of YouTube on the side.
See that cough?
I'm ready to fight whenever. Don't worry about that.
I'm ready to fight whenever. Don't worry about that. Right, you're ready to fight whatever because you're a fucking warrior. You're a beast. You're one of the best fighters on the planet. You're one of the best heavyweights to ever walk, like I said, into the octagon in the UFC and MMA. I'm sure you could fight whoever the hell you wanted to fight in this world, and you do fucking great. You're a warrior. You're a beast. But you're so much of a beast that you have idiots around you in this gym not telling you to go to fuck home. You're overtrained. You should not be at the gym. You're a pro athlete, Thomas. The reason why you're getting these viral infections has nothing to do with the fact that you're under eating. You're not under eating at 260 fucking pounds. By the way, 253 pounds right now. At 253 pounds, you're not under eating by taking in 4,000 calories per day. You're going to be overeating by taking in 7,000 calories per day, which is absolutely ridiculous for you in your situation. And you're getting sick because you're overtrained. The viral infections has to do with your compromised central nervous system. It's not recovering enough. You're not sleeping enough. You have all these other obligations. Look, you're making this video now, right? Like, you're putting it out there. You're sick because you're overtrained. Not more calories, more focus on the macronutrient distribution, more focus on what micronutrients you're taking in, more focus on what your body actually needs, more focus on how your blood work is. Like, what are you metabolizing? What's your testosterone like? What's your estrogen like? What's your testosterone to epitestosterone ratio? What's your insulin look like? Very important. How does your body respond to carbohydrates? I mean, I'm no fucking doctor. I'm a personal trainer. I'm no fucking exercise physiologist, but I should be. You got 3 people, your doctor, your dietitian, and your physiologist, or whatever, your cockologist, telling you all this horse shit, not bringing up 90% of the shit that I'm saying, giving you these bullshit readings on BMI. Dude, Tom, I love you, man. We love you, right? MMA people, right? All you guys out there, right? We want you to fight John Jones at some point. I would like you to fight Sidogan first, but whatever, right? I want you to continue to fight in the UFC. If you keep doing this shit and you listen to stupid people, you're going to get viral infections. That's just the way it is. You're getting viral infections and you're getting sick because you're overtraining, Tom. Train twice a day, but don't train twice a day every day. Every now and then, train only in the morning. Or how about this? Take a full fucking day off. Look at Khabib Nurmagomedov. He says he trains, hard 3 days a week? Then he has a complete rest day. Then he has a wrestling day, he has a sparring day. He has a groundwork day, and then he has a striking day. It's all planned with him. He doesn't get fucking sick. You want to know who does get sick? Hamzat. Hamzat gets sick. He's probably one of these warriors, too, that like to fucking train every day, and he has people around him. No, keep training. Don't be weak. Right? Tom, you're getting sick. You're getting the viruses. You're getting all these infections, not because you're under eating. A 253-pound man, I don't care if you train twice a day. If you're eating 4,000 calories, you're fine. 7,000 calories, you're not a bodybuilder. You're not taking steroids. You're not like trying to build muscle. You're trying to maintain. Again, guys, I'm going to give you the breakdown for what this guy would have to eat if he took in 7,000 calories per day. 200 grams of fat, 300 grams of protein, 750 grams of carbs. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Here's what I recommend for Tom. 300 grams of protein, 200 grams of fat, 350 grams of carbs. You want to, now, that's like your maintenance level, right? Okay, depending on how you feel, you need to say to yourself, I'm hungry. Well, eat more carbs. The most you should go for carbs, the highest, is just under 600, right around 585 grams of carbs, which is excessive. That should be a hard training day. But the main thing is, how much are you sleeping? You're going to tell me your dietitian, your doctor, your nutritionist, your physiologist, all these guys that are looking over your work and looking over your energy expenditure didn't ask you how many hours of sleep you're getting. By the way, did you ever do one of those sleep apnea tests to see maybe you're not sleeping efficiently enough? And I'm not talking about the little heart rate monitor shit. I'm talking about actually wearing one of those masks that actually measure your VO2 max when you're sleeping. How do you sleep on your back? Do you sleep on your side? These are all factors that you didn't mention in this video because people are not teaching you this. Instead, you got a guy who did these measurements that I'm sure you paid a lot of money for, and he's telling you, wow, you have the most muscle mass I have ever seen out of anyone. Oh my God, the maximum score is 100. You scored 110. Dude, you're getting sick because you're overtrained. You're not getting sick because you're under eating. You're eating just enough. What you need to do is have fucking rest days. Planned rest days. I'm going to give you exactly what you need to do. Monday and Tuesday, go as hard as fuck. Wednesday, take off. Completely take off Wednesday. Oh, you can't take off Wednesday? Okay, then go do a fucking run or go do your strength and conditioning on Wednesday. Perfect. Your strength and conditioning day will be Wednesday. All right? Because you don't need more than 2 or 3 days of strength and conditioning if you're a UFC fighter. All right? Thursday, moderate to hard training. Friday, super hard training session. Saturday, morning training, night session, Sunday rest. That's it. That's your breakdown. But you training every single day, twice a day, sparring every day, presumably, whether or not it's a hard spar or like an easy spar, whatever. You think that you're going to solve these issues by taking in 7,000 calories a day? Tom, I don't know who your nutritionist is. I don't know who your dietitian is. I don't know who your doctor is, but you're going to have to think about, you really got to take a serious consideration into what's going on here because you're getting smoke blown up your ass and it's not good. So, Tom, I don't want you to die, but you're doing some stupid shit. So,